Alright, so about a year ago, I grabbed me a pair of Sony's WH-1000XM3 headphones, and I reckon since I've put them through their paces, I'd give you my verdict on them. But I also want to preface this by saying I'm no audiophile, so this one's mainly going to touch on my experience personally with these as a whole. But before you say anything, I know Sony have dropped the XM4s, which are the successors to these, but I haven't had those to hand, and if anything, from what I've seen, they're a pretty minor upgrade at best, so without any stalling, let's get into it. So kicking off with design, I haven't really got much to say, I've got to be honest. They've got a pretty basic format. Sony's on it, obviously gone with these tried and tested formulas, but they've done it. I mean, there's nothing super interesting to touch on, but I do like the matte black colour, especially the fact that it resists fingerprints so well. It won't do great with smudges, I've found, but if you clean it off regularly, then honestly you've got no problem. Also, I like the little chrome accents around the Sony logos and the upward facing noise cancelling mics. They're actually the main mics. I thought that they were the USB-C ports. I'm pretty sure everyone's made that mistake at some point. But no, honestly, design-wise, they're pretty nice. On the bottom, you've got the noise cancelling ambient button, which I'll get into later. The power button, you've got a little blue LED next to it to show you when you're connected. You've got a little input jack as well, and on the other side, you've got a USB-C port for charging with a red LED next to it, so you know when it's on. There's three smaller mics on the left ear cup, which I presume also do noise cancelling, and you've got on the same ear cup an NFC coil. Personally, I just never use it, not really an NFC person, but you know, it works fine, I've tested it, so if you're into that, then it's there. You've also got the touch sensor control panel on the right ear cup, so you've got gestures to adjust the volume, skip, and play and pause tracks. So yeah, if you're into that, then you can use it. I haven't got any ghost touches, which some people have been talking about, but yeah, I personally just use my phone to control. But you know, it's there, it's a nice to have if you're into that. If we're talking wear and tear, these have actually held up pretty well. I can't lie, I've only got a few deep scratches on one of the ear cups, and a little chip of plastic came out from the right side of the earphones. The headphones also come with their own hard fabric case in the box, and this comes with some adapters and cables, but of course, me being me, I've lost them all. Anyway, they can fold down to fit in this case, and it's got a nice zip and padding to keep them protected. I also like that they've put the copper accent on the zip, it's just a nice touch, I think. But yeah, it's nice that Sony threw in a case anyway. It's solid, it does the job. It's got a bit more storage as well, so if you're into that, you can carry a few more accessories. But yeah, nothing much to say about the case. Also, just want to touch on the cable that comes with this thing. This isn't actually the cable that it came with, but it was about the same length as this one, and I seriously don't know why they put in cables this short. Nobody has a plug this near to a table, so please Sony, just rethink that. But yeah, overall, they do seem to leave a few marks on the case over time, like a little bit of grease from the ear cups, but that's about it. All in all though, no complaints for the way they're put together. In terms of comfort, the Sonys have a stiff but comfortable headband with flexible padding and a pair of moldable ear cups that help form to your ears, and they create a really nice but effective seal against background noise. The headband rails click into place without too much effort, but I've found sometimes your hair can get caught in them, so just watch out for that. But the weight of 255 grams is spread well enough that these are fine for use for a couple hours. You don't really feel too much weight on any particular part of your head if you are wearing these for a while. But the clamp force from the headband is also pretty strong. It's not too brutal, maybe a little bit tight, but they do take a fair share of swinging to actually shake them off your head. Right then, the big one, sound quality. I can safely say that these headphones have a ridiculously consistent sound profile. They handle any kind of audio like a champ. If you want to get technical, they've got 40mm neodymium drivers and an aluminium coated LCP diaphragm with DSE-EHX and a 4 to 40,000 Hz frequency response range, which is seriously impressive. But if you're like me, on a less technical level, these sound cracking. You can safely hand these to anyone, and I'm pretty sure that they'd be pretty damn impressed. The bass is heavy but not overwhelming, the vocals are super sharp, and the soundstage is pretty wide. You've got a really good range of instrumental separation as well. The XM3s get crazy loud with barely any distortion at really high volumes, and if you're wondering, the sound over Bluetooth and through the input jack doesn't have a major difference, but if you use the input jack, you will get slightly better battery life. And since they're noise cancelling headphones, the noise cancellation is also fantastic. Thanks to updates, especially through the Sony Headphones app, it's got quite a bit better since launch. Not massively, but it didn't really need to because it's great already. But basically, the background noise is aggressively filtered. The mics on both sides help separate your music from whatever's going on around you. There's also mics internally, which I forgot to mention earlier, and they also help to monitor just the sound around your ears as well. So it really does comb through background noise amazingly well. Honestly, the only things that it can't quite handle are super loud traffic and ambulance sirens for me. They're just the ones that I've noticed the most, but apart from that, it cuts through everything. It's great, and it separates vocals and just everything in your music from what you're hearing in the background and the ambient sound around you. I also just want to go back to Sony's Headphones app for a second, just want to touch back on it. It lets you control a ton of fine things like soundstage, bass, treble, so on, and I'd recommend getting it since it works with any other Sony branded headphones as well. You can also select presets which emphasize a bunch of different types of music, but I've only added 5 notches to the bass profile, and I've also adjusted the treble a little bit. It lets you filter the amount of ambient sound that enters your headphones, as well as detecting when you're in a certain environment, so I'd account for extra wind or set frequencies. But personally, I've left this off. I just don't really use it. Certainly then, I'd say get the app if you want to tweak your headphones, but you don't have to. I'd say that they sound fantastic out the box. You don't really need to change them very much, but if you do want fine controls, this is probably the best app that you can get. Last up then is the battery life, which is incredibly solid out the box. Sony says themselves that you'll be getting about 30 hours of listening time on a full charge with ANC on, or about 38 if you turn it off. Although after a year of constant usage, just overall outdoor listening, battery life for me has dropped to more like 20 hours a charge, but when I did get the headphones, I was getting about 30 to 34 hours, which is amazing on a single charge. It's great now, but not quite what it used to reach. Personally, I'd recommend using them out indoors, just since they won't wear as quickly if you keep them in a decent environment. Luckily though, they charge so quickly that you can juice them up to like 80% in about 20 minutes, sometimes even less. I actually thought that this was a glitch or something, but it's not, so yeah, I looked it up. You are genuinely getting about 80% off a 20-minute charge. Bear in mind I use like a 10-watt phone charger, so if you use any higher, you probably can get even more juice in even less time. But yeah, if you want great battery life, then all in all, these are definitely got you covered, and you won't have to worry about these, especially because of the charging and just the endurance overall. I know it's not the best, and it has dropped quite significantly. I've looked on forums as well, quite a few people have had this problem, but apart from that, I wouldn't worry about it. These are going to last you a full day, maybe even 2, which is fantastic. Alright, so if you put all of these things together, this is a killer pair of headphones. I can't lie, I may be biased a little bit because I haven't tried what Microsoft and Bose have to offer, but I can bet that anyone would be happy with a pair of these if you bought them. Not to mention, they're a lot cheaper now from launch. They came out in 2018, so these are easily a couple years old. They're going to degrade a little bit in value, which is not necessarily a bad thing for us if you want to buy some. And yeah, they've held up really well as I'd hoped, so it's hard to fault them. So yeah, all in all, thumbs up from me, Sony. Also, before I go, I just want to say, go check out my mate, OBF1. He does great F1 commentaries. My guy Owen does really good quality videos. He's just climbing at the moment. He hasn't got many subs, so I'd really appreciate it if you just went over, gave him a sub, gave him a like, whatever he needs to get off the ground. But yeah, he's really big fan on F1, so if you love F1 and you love the commentaries, go check him out. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and all that, and I'll catch you later.